psych, and spirit, growing one awareness at a time.
Hello everyone, this is Dr. Shay. Have you ever experienced a feeling that you were very small in a vast world and your mind was blown by either what you saw or learned, almost like shock, but in a positive and humbling way? If you have, you experienced a phenomenon called awe. How can awe benefit us? How can we experience awe in our lives? Join me as we discuss the powerful emotion of positive awe. So let's start with the definition of awe. Awe is an emotion arising from seeing or perceiving stimuli so vast as to require an accommodation of your current framework, meaning you have to adjust your understanding about a concept, such as the world, because of how vast it is. And that's Kelter and Haight's definition. Sometimes it's literal. You're blown away by a sunset, or maybe wildlife on a prairie, being in a beautiful forest, seeing ancient ruins. Other times, maybe it's a beautiful song that gives you really strong goosebumps the first time you hear it, and you're just blown away by it. Seeing your favorite artist's painting hanging up in a museum. Watching an athlete in peak physical form break a world record, maybe during the Olympics. Watching a documentary about insects that blows your mind. Or meeting someone you've looked up to your entire life and feeling very humbled in their presence. Those are just a few examples of how we experience this feeling of wonderment. And how does it benefit us to experience awe? Mongrain and her colleagues in 2025 conducted a randomized controlled trial with folks who had long COVID and found that folks in the awe treatment group who practiced and learned how to practice awe experiences in day-to-day life experienced decreased depression symptoms, improved well-being, and reduced stress. Schaefer et al. In 2024 summarized the findings of several studies about awe, and there are a lot of findings. It increases well-being, it increases connectedness to others, increases tolerance for uncertainty, reduces stress, makes our ideological views less rigid, makes us feel part of a greater whole, and can spur transformation and self-growth, among other outcomes. Monroe and Keltner in 2022 also summarized a body of research reporting that awe can diminish your sense of self, increase oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone, the hormone that makes you feel love feelings and attachment, decrease inflammation, increase our sense of meaning in life, and increase pro-social behaviors, which means behaviors that are conducive to society, so helpful and generous with others, experiencing more empathy perhaps. Another study found that awe humbles us, and people with higher dispositional awe, or awe as a personality trait, can tend to be seen as more humble by those around them. Jiang et al. In 2018 found in their experiments that those who experienced awe had a weaker desire for money, suggesting that after experiencing awe, mundane concerns like money were just less important to them. Indeed, for some folks, the experience of awe can even feel mystical or transcendent or spiritual or even religious in some way, because we may feel like we will never go back to living the way we have before. Some of us feel fundamentally different after experiencing awe. And finally, in a training I received many, many years back about positive psychology, I was taught that awe promotes the 3 C's: curiosity, connection, and compassion. To quote psychologist David Elkins, awe is a lightning bolt that marks in memory those moments when the doors of perception are cleansed and we see with startling clarity what is truly important in life. But is it possible that some folks have a harder time experiencing awe? Yes, it is, and in the research they found a few things. According to a study by Piff and Moskowitz in 2017, folks from higher SES tend to not experience awe as often as those from lower SES, or socioeconomic status. This is theorized because of an overall orientation towards slightly more narcissistic and self-oriented emotions, such as pride and contentment, rather than other-oriented emotions such as love and awe. Awe is actually considered an other-oriented emotion. In addition, folks who have a high need for certainty and don't like ambiguity are less likely to experience awe, perhaps because of the way that awe, by its nature, requires you to shift your thinking and change your understanding or your idea about something. Those who strongly prefer certainty and are less open to changing their minds or exploring ideas might not be as open to awe. This does not mean that folks from higher socioeconomic status and those who do not like uncertainty cannot experience awe. It just might be a little bit more difficult. So you might consider being more thoughtful about incorporating more awe practices into your life, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So how do we experience awe? How do we incorporate more awe into our daily lives? I'm going to list a lot. And as I do, think about whether you've felt awe in these particular situations. Looking at the curvature of the ocean or watching the ocean waves roll in and out. Watching a wild animal in nature that you've never seen before or never saw up close. A forest vista with many trees. A plains vista with rolling hills. Viewing a beautiful sunset. Admiring something large, whether human-made or nature-made, such as a giant dam, a giant building or bridge, like the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, not that far from where I am. A valley vista while you're on top of a hill or a mountain. A beautiful large lake, a wide river. Hills with houses on them, a giant stadium, an old large building, and the list goes on. Viewing ancient ruins or remnants of humanity's history can also bring a sense of awe or invoke a sense of awe. Watching a flock of birds fly in formation together across a field or across the sky. Meditating with a group of people. Seeing old fossils from dinosaurs or other creatures that lived long ago or big creatures. Looking down at the earth from an airplane or viewing the clouds from a plane. Attending a sports match and seeing the size of the crowd, or seeing your favorite athlete play on the field or the court below. Attending a concert and hearing music that makes you tingle or gives you goosebumps. Visiting a museum and seeing interesting art. Listening to someone you deeply respect say something that just blows your mind. Watching a movie and being blown away by the music, the cinematography, or the acting or the amazing script, or maybe all of the above, if the movie's perfect to you. Watching a documentary and learning something new that was unexpected or touches you in some way. Seeing images or a show about space and experiencing its vastness. Looking at something tiny yet intricate, like the delicate veins in a tree leaf or a flower petal. This is not an exhaustive list. As long as it was, there are more ways you can experience awe. And you'll note that some of these may actually require more resources or more travel than others, such as concerts, airplane travel, access to buildings and ruins from different parts of nature, and different parts of nature, of course. I've experienced awe through a lot of different ways, but through nature quite a bit in my life. Reaching the tops of mountains or the tops of hills and looking out at the earth below is a big way that I experience awe. Sometimes being in beautiful forests, and sometimes the ocean or a large lake can actually bring me that feeling of awe. But architecture also blows me away. I've experienced awe sometimes just looking at pictures of Gothic churches, and I just really am blown away by the idea, even just the idea that over 1,000 years ago, or around 1,000 years ago, or slightly less, they could build such a monstrous building with all these flying buttresses on the outside and these huge windows and these stained glass windows that are just intricate and gorgeous. It kind of blows me away. They are huge. I've never actually seen a Gothic cathedral in Europe before, but I did see the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. I saw the outside of that one, it was really big, but they're also doing construction because they always are on that one, or they used to be. So those are some of the ways that I experienced awe. However, one of my favorite places to visit in LA is called the Universal Overlook, and it looks at the valley. So it looks north towards Studio City, towards North Hollywood and Burbank. It is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. It's really high up in the hills, and you could see tiny cars on the freeway below, and a skyscraper too, like the NBC skyscraper. And you can also see mountains further out. And so you can see a vast sort of sprawl of a city, plus the mountains really far back in the distance. And it's that vastness that really brings me that feeling of awe. And I've seen it day or night. And so I've experienced that feeling of awe in the day or in the night up there. You just hear those ambient sounds of the traffic. It's very quiet up there. It's kind of like a whooshing sound a little bit. It's very quiet. But you can see millions. There are probably millions of people in that valley just going about their daily lives. And it just blows me away every time that I'm up there looking down and looking at the mountains as well, far in the distance. But that's just me. There are countless beautiful and awe-inducing places where you could feel that vastness that challenges your view of the world. Your job is to find them for yourself and allow yourself to have that experience. So let's get to that nitty-gritty of increasing your daily awe, even if you don't have access to all of these things, perhaps. First of all, when you do these things, put away your phone, right? Put away your phones. That is important because you really need to be present while you're doing these activities. You can't be scrolling and experiencing awe at the same time. It's just not going to happen. So, number one, music. Pick a song that has given you goosebumps or that you heard it and you loved it right away. Listen to it again alone with your eyes closed and focus on the present moment of experiencing it all over again. Number two, nature. Go on awe walks, meaning walk in parks or nearby places with natural elements such as trees, flowers, water, grasses. Notice the things that you find beautiful, colorful, things that smell good. If you aren't up to experiencing nature directly, there's another way, by proxy. You can also watch a show about nature or a show about travel, which I did during COVID a lot. I would watch these travel shows all the time because I still wanted the sensation of exploring a new place or seeing new things, even though I couldn't go anywhere. You can also watch a documentary or a show about space as well, or nature. Number three, art. Seek out a piece of art, whether it be a show, a movie, a documentary movie, a painting, a drawing, etc. You don't have to go to a museum for this. You can appreciate it from the comfort of your own home. If you explore digital photos of art, for instance, or anything on the internet. Number four, compassion or feats. Seek out stories or news clips of people doing great things, so great feats, or compassionate things for others, or heartwarming stories. It's another way that you can experience awe from your day-to-day life. Number five is connection. Observe your loved ones around you. Take a moment to look at them and savor some of the small moments with them, like being silly or talking about something they feel passionate about. Sometimes we feel awe for others just by being very present with them in some way and talking to them and seeing what lights them up. If we love them or if they inspire us in some way with their personality traits. And finally, journal. Write in an awe journal. Write down a memory of when you felt awe, what it was like, how you felt after, and how it affected you. You can also journal a few times per week about your day-to-day experience of awe as well. So it's your choice. You could do either one. All right. So for your homework, pick one of these activities to do this week. Just one. Could be just watching something about travel or nature or space. But maybe you can also write about it after it happens. If you don't experience awe this week, that's okay. Awe kind of happens in levels, right? You might not be completely blown away by something, but you might experience levels of awe, and that's okay. Just journal about an awe-inspiring experience that you had in the past. This is just one tiny piece in the puzzle of well-being and growth, but it is a lovely one, and you can experience it for free. So give yourself the opportunity to experience it when you can. Thanks for joining me. Until next time.